We begin with the latest on Alberta's wildfire emergency, a crisis that could escalate because of unseasonably hot weather increasing the risk of new fires. More than 20 are currently burning out of control, and a heat dome, stagnant air that can cause heat waves, could potentially mean more. Temperatures climbing into the lower 30s, dramatically increasing the threat of lightning starting a fire.
Lightning-caused fires can smolder for days and ignite when the conditions are hot, dry, and windy.
Premier Danielle Smith flew into the Grand Prairie fire zone yesterday, getting a view from the sky and on the ground of the damage and the threat. Right now, there are 83 active fires across central and northern Alberta. Firefighting capacity will be bolstered this weekend with the arrival of another 100 Canadian Armed Forces personnel and 200 from the U.S. The CBC's Julia Wong brings us the latest from a fire-threatened community west of Edmonton.
From where I am right now, there are fires burning in pretty much every direction that you could look. And while it may look picturesque where I am right now, that is certainly not the case in other parts of the province that have seen these wildfires threaten their community, and it certainly will not be the case moving forward as we go into this weekend. As you mentioned, Alberta is expecting bracing, really hot temperatures, gusty conditions, low humidity, all the ingredients really for wildfires that we have to flare up or be even more out of control. Now, northern Alberta, where many of these fires are right now, they are under a heat warning. Fire crews there are really preparing for what they could see over the next few days. Many communities are under an evacuation order, remain under evacuation orders, which mean residents will not be allowed back in, potentially for quite some time. Other communities north of where we are remain under evacuation alerts, which means residents can be there right now, but they have to be ready to go within perhaps an hour or a couple of hours. And that just shows you how real this threat is. So what I can tell you is that this weekend, Albertans, they're bracing for potentially what may to come. Fire crews have been saying they're expecting things to be volatile. So it really has been a wide range of emotions. You know, some evacuees seem to be coping quite well. They have a very much a, it is what it is type of attitude. Others have been frustrated by what they call a lack of communication or perhaps unclear communication from their local leaders about what is happening with their communities, about what the future holds for them, when they may be able to go back to their homes. And others, as you can very much imagine, are feeling very emotional. I spoke with one man yesterday who lost his home in Drayton Valley, and it was really hard for him to speak with us because it was difficult for him to process. Another woman who found out it would be quite some time before she could go home. When she learned that news, she was emotional. She was teary-eyed, and she really couldn't speak with us anymore. But I do want to mention one woman who really stuck out to me. This woman who had been evacuated from Drayton Valley, had been living with friends and family, but she said she wanted to be as close as she could possibly be to her home. She cares just that much about her community. So she actually bought a tent. And she pitched that tent in a community nearby Drayton Valley, and she's living there right now with her cat, saying this is where she wants to be. She wants to be, as I mentioned, as close as she possibly can, so when that evacuation order is lifted, she can be one of the first people to go back home. But you could tell that that was really hard for her to do. She wants to do that, but she did also say in a very emotional voice, while pointing to her tent, she's like, this is my temporary home for the time being.
The CBC's Julia Wong for us there in Alberta. Thank you.